Hello, my name is Beth Dixon and I run the Math Lab at Walter State Community College. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me at beth.dixon@ws.edu. And as long as it's not the spring of 2020, I'm usually found in MBS 222 from 8 to 4:30 on Monday through Friday. Of course, if it's still the spring of 2020, who knows where I'm at, and you know why. Now we are up to page 11. I'm so excited. That leaves us 4 more pages to go. And this is the review for Math 0030, the final exam review. And we're up to the second most common questions that I get asked. And these have to do with reading the table or reading the graph. And they are the most common questions together that I get asked every semester. We do these in a lot of our classes, and it's because we want you to be able to solve equations using graphs, tables, and algebra, as well as words. And so we want these 4 methods. You can see the shadow, but not my fingers, but the 4 methods of solving. And so this is one of those 4 methods. And in this case, there's no work to solve these. To solve an equation using a table, you simply look at the table. And that's probably what makes these problems so hard, is that you're asked to show work, show work, show work, and then suddenly we've got 2 problems here where you don't show work. So what is it asking you to do? It's asking you to look at the table to find the answer. It says use the table. That's how you know that you only have to use the table. So it says 0.25x plus 4 is equal to 7. And then when it says to solve, that means it wants an answer that x equals. So our answer will be in the x column. And so this is the x, and then this is saying the y is equal to this. So the y value is over here. So this is the y value, and we're going to write down the x value that makes this y value 4. So we're going to look down the y column and find the y value of 4. And it's right there at top. So what's the x value? -12. So the answer is -12. No work, we're just reading the table. When x is -12, the y value is 4 when y equals that. Well, how do we know that? Because if I put 0.25 times -12 plus 7, I will get 4. And you can put that in your calculator and see. 0.25 times -12 plus 7, and that should then give me 4. And I'm a little slanted there. Let me straighten that out. And that gives me the answer. That's how I know. But I don't have to do this work. I don't have to do this work. All I have to do is look at the table. So now I want to know where the output is 8, where that y value is 8. So that's a 4, that's a 5, that's a 6, that's a 7, there's an 8. And what's the input? A 4. So that just tells me x equals 4. That's all you need to do. These should be easy points on the exam if you understand and remember how to solve them. If you do, easy peasy, read it, put the answer. Don't overthink these. 1 point, use the table. Again, it says use the table, so we don't have to show any work. And it says 1.5x minus 4 equals -4. And when we do that, we're just simply looking for -4 in the output, which is right here. The input there is then 0. And I'm going to make sure I've not misread that because I'm having a little trouble with my astigmatism keeping the line straight. So that means x equals 0. And then for an output of 2, that gives me 4. And again, if you want to check it, 1.5 times 4 minus 4 gives me 2. 1.5 times 0 minus 4 gives me -4. So you can even check it if you want. Now, notice the next two problems say to use the graph to solve the following equations. Again, we don't have to show any work. We're just going to use the graph. Now, I don't know if you can see it because I can barely see it with my reading glasses on. And so I'm not sure you can see it on the camera. But down here it says that this is the graph of y equals 2/3 x minus 2. So if this says 2/3 x minus 2, this is the graph of that. And then again, just like up here, this then, if this is the graph of y, this becomes the y value. So these are the y values. So I want a y value of 2. So I'm going to use, and I wish I had one of my straight edges. I could have swore I brought home a straight edge. And apparently I brought home everything but a straight edge. Wasn't that just lovely of me to bring home everything but a straight edge? Well, everything I've got, I'll use something. I'll use this instead. Okay, so I didn't bring home a straight edge, so we'll just use this post-it notepad. And so I want a y value of a +2. So I'm going to count up 1, 2, and I'm just going to kind of put a straight edge there. And you can't really see it if I put it all the way up. So I'm going to pretend like it's right there on that 2, and you can't see it. So I'm going to drop it down just a little bit down below, and I'm going to run it right there. And I'm going to take my pencil. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to run my pencil right there through 2. You see, I've run my pencil right there through 2. And you can just barely see that line. And I intended it just to be barely seen. And I'm looking for where that y value of 2, there's no graph here. There's no graph here. I'm looking for where it intersects this right here, because this is where I'm looking for, where this line has an output of 2. Well, it has an output of 2 right here. And what's the x value there? Well, that's the point, ordered pair. That's the ordered pair 6, 2. And since I'm trying to solve the equation, that means my answer should be x something. So my answer should be the 6 part of that. And then that's the y part of that. That's what it's asking for. I'm going to do the same thing for here, but this is asking for -4. I'm going to come down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just going to very lightly draw the line across so that I can see that it crosses right here. And then that's the point, 1, 2, excuse me, -1, -2, -3. So that's the point, -3, -4. And since it's asking for the x value, this answer is x equals -3. And in this case, how do I know that it's the right answer? I can type in 2 divided by 3 times the x value, which is 6, minus 2, and that should give me the y value of 2. I can type in 2 divided by 3 times the x value of -3, subtract 2, and that should give me an x value of -4. Again, we're going to do the same thing for the problem at the bottom, and that is to use the graph to solve the following equations. We're not going to solve it by hand. We're going to use the graph. We know the graph is the 6 minus 3/2 x because it tells us so here at the bottom. So we're looking for these to be the y values. So these are the y values. Our answers should be in the x values because that's how we solve the equations. To solve an equation in this case would be to get the x by itself. So first of all, I want to find a y value of 3. So I'm going to come up here to 3, and I'm not even going to use the straight edge that time. I'm just going to freehand that 3, and that gives me a point right here, and that's the 0.2, 3. And remember, the answer is not the y value. I know I'm given the y value. The answer is that x value. And if I wanted to type to check it, I would type it in. And I type in 6 minus 3/2 times 2. And that would give me the 3, which I should expect it to do. The last one is the x value, excuse me, the y value is 0. Remember, if the y value is 0, we start at 0, 0, and the y value is 0, so we don't go up any, we don't go down any. So it's going to actually be that x-axis. So that one's a little tricky. So I'm going to extend that a little bit here. So we're looking, in this case, when y is 0, that's the x-intercept. It's where it crosses that x-axis. And so that's over here, and we can see that's at 4. So that's the 0.4, 0. So when the y is 0, that x is 4. And if we plug that in, that'd be 6 minus 3 divided by 2, which is our 3/2, times 0. No, times 4. Our x value is the x, and that x is 4, so it should be 0, it should be 4, and that would give us 0. And so that does give us the output of 0, which is what we're looking for. And that concludes this page. And although this is a very short video, the next one won't be so short, and I don't want to mix up pages at this point. I'm just going to do a page at a time. So this one was very short and sweet. I hope this helps as you're getting ready to study for your final exam. And again, if you want to reach me, you can reach me at beth.dixon@ws.edu. Or for most semesters, you can reach me in the math lab in room 222 in the Behavioral and Social Sciences building. Have a great day.